We're going to use a John Deere classic grain drill to no-till a food plot for our deer on today's video. We all look for a cheaper and efficient way to do things, and in the case of no-till, that's no different. It costs thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to be able to get equipment for no-till planting. Because of budget restrictions, people are trying to find inexpensive ways to get into no-till planting, so they're asking questions. Can I hand broadcast seeds for no-till method? Yes, you can, but you're not going to be nearly as effective as you would with a no-till drill, because you're using more seed, but seed's a lot cheaper than buying new equipment, so it makes sense, right? Another question that I've seen people ask a lot is, can I use an old conventional drill for no-till method? And yes and no, you can, and it's the same thing. It's just not going to be as effective. There is a way and certain guidelines that you can follow to help try to increase your rate of germination. Number one, seed size matters. The smaller, the better. The smaller the seed, the more shallow that you plant, so it's very doable. In this case today, I used iron and clay cowpeas. The bag of seed that I got from my local co-op is little bitty tiny cowpea seeds. I mean, they're tiny, about half the size of soybeans. In fact, I added soybeans to it, and I thought, well, wow, this might not work nearly as good. And in fact, it didn't. I probably only got germination of about 1/5 of the soybeans that I put in there, because you got to get them deeper in the ground. But the bigger seeds that you plant, I mean, if you're going to plant lab, or you're going to plant soybeans, or you're going to plant corn, you're going to have a hard time. It's not probably going to come up. You're going to have a very low germination rate. Oats are something that really are hard for me to use this drill in this method. Rye is fine, wheat is fine, clovers are fine, chicory is fine, anything that's a small seed, because I mean, you can actually even plant too deep sometimes. If you can get that disc in there and make a good furrow, sometimes you plant a little deep. Generally on cowpeas, you can plant them 1 to 2 inches deep, but if you've got moisture, they will come up in 1/2 inch, and that's really what I was targeting. So brings up point number 2. Soil matters. It really makes a difference. If you've got hard clay soil that's been baked into just a brick, you're not going to have any success really with this method. Unless you've had a little bit of rain to get on there, and there's a difference between a little bit of rain and a lot of rain. A lot of rain, no-till drill won't, or this drill won't work, because you're going to pack the bottom of that drill where the boot is with debris and dirt and clay, and the seeds are just not going to come out. So you got to be careful there. And I did go through and plant when it was just light, there was light moisture. We'd gotten a light rain, which kind of opened up the crust a little bit, softened it a little bit. I was able to set the disc as far as I could and drop those seed in about 1/2 inch, so it worked out perfect. The bottom line is, if your ground soil is loose, if you've got good quality ground like sandy loam that's kind of loose, that hadn't hardened, and every time you get a rain, after the rain starts to dry, it leaves a crust on top, and sometimes it's hard to get through, but you can be effective with this. But it's a way for you to save money. The best way is to have a no-till drill, there's no doubt about it, but a lot of you guys have these old drills sitting around. As a matter of fact, I bought this drill that I have for $100. I mean, it's 16 feet wide. I mean, when I'm pulling with that my Ford 8N, or if I'm using this John Deere 1025R of my good buddies, I feel like I'm a big time farmer, with that thing sticking out right there. And I don't have to go get my big tractor and get out there and really pack the soil down. I can go over there with a light tractor, and I had some success. So you got to plan it out. Number one, I set the planting depth as deep as I could get it with these levers for the cowpeas. Now, if I were going to go in and try to plant alfalfa or clover with it, man, you could be pretty successful with it, because remember, you just have to break the crust and lay that seed right down inside, and then the chains come over and help to make good soil contact. You can even drill through some winter rye or something like that to plant some of these smaller seeds. So it does work. You're going to have to plant heavier. You're going to have a heavier rate, because they're not all going to come up. And as you can see in the video here, There's places where it's too thick, and then there's places where you miss maybe a spot about this big, maybe a foot 8 to a foot long. I mean, you put seed in there, but it just didn't make good contact. But I'm satisfied with what happened, and I didn't have to break the ground, and it was cheap. It was a way for me to get that second food plot in, that second chance that I had this year. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It is a possibility for if you don't have a no-till drill, you can try to make it work. I hope you have success with this. I've experienced over 90% germination rate, and I know you can probably get 80 or 90 even in the very beginning. That far exceeds any hand broadcasting that you could do. Not to mention being able to plant it 16 feet wide. You're going to put a food plot in a hurry. Thank you for watching the video. Make it a great day. Go enjoy the outdoors, and may God bless you.